Welcome to the Owning Your Sexual Self podcast. I'm your host, Rachel Main, awesome wife and dog mom for life. I'm a sex therapist turned sex coach, and I run a successful business selling relationship enhancement products. I absolutely love talking about all things sex. So you can expect this podcast to explore all things related to women's sexual health because that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you discover and embrace what brings you pleasure so that you can own your sexual self. If that sounds good to you, then keep listening and let's fucking do this. Hello. Welcome back to Owning Your Sexual Self, where today we're talking all things menstrual cups. You're welcome. So if you've been a regular listener of the podcast, then you might have heard my episode previously that I did with my friend Molly. And in that conversation came up the use of menstrual cups. And y'all, she swears by them. I've heard so many women that swear by menstrual cups. They say that switching over from from tampons to a menstrual cup was a complete game changer for them and their vaginas and specifically their periods. So if you aren't certain what a menstrual cup is, this is so funny to me because when I first got my cup, I posted a selfie with it on my Insta stories, and so many people were like, what the fuck is that? Like, tell me all the things. And if you were already curious about menstrual cups, you asked a ton of questions. So that's what this podcast is for. I'm going to answer some of those questions that y'all asked, and then also give you my very entertaining review of my menstrual cup experience. So hang tight. Yeah, that's coming. So first off, if you're not sure what a menstrual cup is, basically it's a replacement. It's another option for us to use aside from using pads or tampons or anything like that. So a menstrual cup is basically reusable, which is really nice. So if you're someone that's out here, you're trying to save the planet and you're Captain Planet and all that shit, a menstrual cup might be a good option for you because it is reusable. Like I said, it's not going to be made of anything that you're going to throw away, and it's made of either rubber or silicone, and basically it's super flexible, which is nice. It's like very, very firm yet squishy, if you will. So it's nice, and it's in a cup shape. It was almost like a cup shaped tampon. It has this little like string attached to the bottom of it, which makes it easy for you to remove when that time comes. But basically a cup, they can hold more blood. Sorry if this is getting gross for you, but listen, it's vaginas and shit. We got to talk about it. So it's going to hold more blood than a usual method like a tampon or a pad or something like that. So depending on your flow, you can actually wear a cup for up to 12 hours, which is really cool. So there's a ton of brands out there. You've probably heard of Diva Cup. I feel like, in my opinion, Diva Cup is the most talked about one. I'm not even sure if they were the first cup to come out with or what, but Diva Cup is definitely an option. You'll see those sold in stores and things like that. What I went through was actually another company called Lunette, Lunette. I'll definitely drop the link to that in this show notes for you to easily find. But before I purchased my cup, because you want to make sure you know which size is right for you, and then again, there's different types based on how your flow is. So if you got a light flow, heavy flow, or whatever it is. So with this, a great Insta account to follow is Put a Cup in It. I'll link that too in the show notes for you to be able to find easily. But it's super nice because it asks you a lot of questions about your flow, about your vagina, about pain, anything like that. And it's going to match you up to the accurate cup for you. So when you're thinking of like sizing of your cup, this is going to be dependent on many things. So this is going to be dependent on your age, your length of your cervix, again, your flow, firmness and flexibility that you want to have in your cup capacity, strength of your pelvic floor muscles, and then again, and also finally, if you've given birth vaginally and recently more so. So the smaller menstrual cups are usually what's recommended for women that are younger than 30 who have not delivered vaginally. And then your larger sizes are often recommended for women that are over the age of 30 or have given birth vaginally or they have a heavier period. So that's really important to know. Again, I think that taking the quiz is super fun, and it just helps you think about different things about your body that you probably don't think of on the regular basis, right? So, and it's fun. And the Put a Cup in It, they offer cups as well, and they are super cute. They come in different colors. They come in little cute baggies. Like they've really like jazzed it up for you to have some fun with this. Okay. So, before you insert a cup, so this is one of the questions that I got, was like, how do you even go about inserting it? Do I use a lube? Do I not use a lube? Is it messy? All sorts of questions like this. So, yes, your answer is yes. I feel like you all should have already known that I was going to say use a damn lubricant, right? Anything that's going into our vagina deserves to be lubed up and ready to go. So you want to, quote unquote, grease up your cup. All right, grease up your cup. You're welcome for that. You're never going to forget it from this episode now. But a wet menstrual cup is much easier to insert, right? You've heard me say it before. Wetter is better, right? So what I would recommend doing is either or. So if you want to first insert a pump of water-based lubricant onto your finger and insert it vaginally, so that way it absorbs into your vaginal walls, maybe you have a little bit extra focus right around your vaginal opening so that when the cup hits the vaginal opening, it's going to have a nice glide inside. Another option is you could do the vaginal insertion of lubricant, and then you can also do just a tiny bit of lubricant around the rim of the cup, basically, which is the part that you're going to be folding and inserting first. Or if you just want to do a little bit around the rim, that's another option too. I'm going to tell you, you'll know after my experience of using this the last few months, it's definitely going to be something that is going to be a trial and error, if you will. Okay. So I cannot wait to share my experience with you guys, because I'm literally going to pull up my text messages that I sent to my friend Molly that day, because I thought I was losing it, y'all. Like I had a Walmart experience. Like there's just things coming your way. So, okay. So if you can insert a tampon, or if you've ever inserted a tampon, you kind of understand the process of that. It's pretty much the same for a menstrual cup, which is nice. So, basically, again, you want to make sure that you have the correct fit. You want to, of course, wash your hands before, because you're going to be touching near your vaginal area, near your genitals. So you want to make sure that you're all clean, ready to go. So you're going to wash your hands. You're going to apply that water-based lubricant either to the rim or inside the vagina, whichever you prefer. And then you're going to tightly fold the menstrual cup in half. So basically, if you're holding it as if like all 5 of your digits are around the menstrual cup, so you're holding it in the total circumference of the cup, if you will, and then bring in your index finger, and I wish I was recording a video right now so you could see this. Bring in your your index finger, so you almost like fold it into a U shape or a C shape, if you will. Depending on how you're holding it, it might look like a C, it might look like a U, but that's essentially how you want it to look like. And then from there, you essentially are going to insert it just like you would a tampon. So you want to have it folded so it's a little bit smaller, and you're going to insert it into your vagina, which again should be lubricated very well. Okay. And so what this is going to do, basically, it just sits a few inches below your cervix. And once the cup is in your vagina, you want to rotate it a little bit. This is an important piece. Okay. Rotate it a little bit, because you're actually going to basically feel it open. It feels a little odd, not gonna lie, but you want to wiggle it a bit because you want it to create that airtight seal. That's what stops the leaks from happening. Okay. So if you inserted it correctly, you should not feel the menstrual cup, which is kind of cool, right? Same thing if you're a tampon user. I often have gone through life forgetting that I even had a tampon inserted until I go to the bathroom and I see the string. I'm like, oh, hey, forgot you were there. Thanks for joining the party. So same with your menstrual cup. And again, most of them have that little string, not a string, but it's like a little silicone string looking thing from the bottom of it. So it's going to be essentially similar. So you can pull on that little string to remove it, but we'll get to that part. Okay, so when you have a menstrual cup in, You should be able to move around, you can jump, you can sit, you can stand, you can do all of your everyday activities without your cup falling out. Okay, your vagina is, again, it's creating this airtight seal, so you should not have to worry about any leaks or anything like that. And it's flexible, so when you are squishing it around your hands, it's not going to do that same thing so much in your vagina, but know that it has the capacity so that if you're doing the splits or you're doing a freaking jumping jack or whatever it is that you're doing in life, you will be able to basically do those things with this in. All right. So when you take your cup out, essentially you can wear this for up to 6 to 12 hours. It's going to hold much more than a pad or a tampon will. You also don't have to worry about some of the odors that are associated with pads and tampons, which is really nice because those things are not just sitting there all blood soaked. Again, sorry if this is gross, but this is the shit we have to talk about. This is the life of a woman, okay? Someone that has a menstrual cycle. All right, so basically you can also wear your cup for overnight protection. So if you want something that you can sleep in, I think this is ideal too. If you're someone that does have a heavier flow or you are someone that bleeds heavy in your sleep, that's different for everyone, but it's not okay. I guess it's frowned upon, if you will, with sleeping with tampons in. So if you're a tampon user, switching over to a menstrual cup, or let's say you just use your menstrual cup for your overnight periods, that's an option. Or of course wearing a pad or a panty liner overnight too, that works as well. But again, I just feel like the menstrual cup is definitely less messy, if you will. All right, so if you have any questions, if you're having trouble inserting the menstrual cup, DM me. Seriously, I'm an open book. I've been using this now for a couple of months, and I will say, again, there's some trial and error to this for sure. So give it a shot, and don't just give it a 1-day shot. Like, go through a couple periods trying this out. If you feel more comfortable, trying it on days that you're going to be home most of the time, try that. So that way, if anything does go wrong or you have any uncomfortableness, you're at home, you can remove it easily. No uncomfortable situations. All right, so just as you are ready to take out your menstrual cup, you want to, again, wash your hands. Same reason why you want to wash them before inserting it. And then what you're going to do, you're going to place either your index finger and your thumb, or together is honestly best. So in inserting your index finger and your thumb inside the vagina, and you're going to reach around and you're going to pull out, you're going to feel for that stem, and then you're going to kind of slide up the stem. You want to get to the base of the cup, and then you want to like kind of pinch into the base to release the seal, and then you're going to pull down the cup. So pinch, release, pull. That is your removal process of the cup. And let me just say, it sounds way fucking easier than it actually is. Okay? I'm going to give you my honest review on this menstrual cup game, okay? But that just needs to be known. How I just read those instructions, it is way easier said than done. All right, and then basically once it's done, it's out, you're going to empty your cup into the sink or your toilet, and you're going to rinse it out and clean it. Your cups should be washed and wiped clean before you reinsert them into the vagina, and you should definitely empty it at least twice a day. So reusable cups, these are going to last you about 6 months to 10 years, which is a very large gap. But basically there are also throwaway disposal cups that you just throw away after removal, but I would definitely get one that's reusable for sure. So how I have cleaned mine is I actually use our cleansing foam that Pure Romance has to offer. I love the foam for cleaning toys, and then again, my menstrual cup is made of silicone, so I know I'm getting a nice clean to it. So I rinse mine off with warm water. I pump on that foam, I move it around, I literally wash the menstrual cup for about 90 seconds, leaving that cleaner on there, and then I rinse it back off with warm water, and then I just set it on a paper towel basically in my bathroom to let it dry. So again, you have your you have your menstrual cup. It's affordable. It's safer than tampons. It holds more blood than your pads and tampons. It's overall better for the environment. It can't be felt during sex, which, yes, there are some menstrual cups that you can have sex with. And you can also wear it if you have an IUD, which is nice too. So most of them are budget friendly. Again, they're safer, and eco-friendly and all that. So those are really the advantages of it. The disadvantages of it is that it can be messy, and that's what I'm gonna kind of talk about with my experience. And it may be hard to insert or remove. Again, something that I'll talk about during my experience. And it can be tough to find the right fit. So that's why I definitely recommend taking that quiz on Put a Cup in It. And it could cause an allergic reaction, and it could cause some vaginal irritation. So, all right. I hope that answered all of your questions. But you might find, so again, with the removal being messy, you may find that a certain position or place that you're in, it might make it awkward or difficult for you to remove it. You may not be able to avoid spills. So again, if you're using this out in public, or I don't know, you're in a pinch, literally, it could get a little messy. And when I say messy, again, you're most likely removing this over a toilet. So if there were to be any mess, let's say the seal didn't seal properly, or you, like me, hit your hand on the side of your toilet and it dumps, this was just, you guys, this was such a process, seriously. And again, some people don't, if you're not someone that is used to inserting your fingers into your vagina on a regular basis or at all, the removal of a cup, it does require you to kind of stick your index finger and your thumb up inside the vagina to get to the cup. So if you're not comfortable doing that, the menstrual cup just might not be the best option for you. So on to Rachel's experience. Here we go. So, I get my menstrual cup, all right? I get my menstrual cup, and I'm so excited, right? I take my little selfie. I'm super pumped. My first day using the menstrual cup. In the lubricant route, you already know, I feel that lube is life. So, in my mind, I'm like, more lube, all the lube. Keep my vagina safe. Well, as you may know, there is such thing as too much lube, especially when you're using a menstrual cup. So, here goes Rachel with her new little lunette cup. Insert the lube into my vagina, wrap some lube, rub some lube around the cup, and then boom, here we go. You can imagine this was very slippery. So initially, I had a difficult time getting the cup. Not only did I have lube on the cup, but I had lube on my hands. So when I told you earlier that you need to fold it into this U shape or C shape, my index finger just kept sliding around the parameter of the cup. So to keep it in that U and C shape and also insert it at the same time was very difficult because, again, lots of lube. There was a lot of lube present. So I go a few hours, so finally I get it in. I go a few hours. This was a day that I was not planning to leave the house, and so I'm just walking around, living my life. I will say it was definitely, once it was in, I could not feel it. I could do all the activities, everything was good to go. Then Danny, my husband, he gets home from work early. Well, this is a rare occasion, so anytime this happens, I'm like, okay, what shit can we get done? And again, I'm using my menstrual cup for the first time, so clearly I'm menstruating. So sex at that point in time, not on the table. But errands, yeah, right? You're home early. It's like 1 o'clock. What kind of fun can we get into today, right? So, of course, we have to go to Home Depot for something. We need to go to Walmart for something, which we never go to Walmart. I don't know why. Why did we go to Walmart? I have no idea. I don't even remember. I just remember being in Walmart and thinking, we need to go. Now. So, I don't know, literally, you guys, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was the drive over to Walmart, which is a 15, 20-minute drive, or the fact that we went to Home Depot first and we're walking around a lot. But bottom line, my cup did not seal. It did not seal. So when I was throughout Home Depot or walking around, I start to feel the cup. And mind you, it's been in for a few hours at this point. So I'm like, okay, what's happening here? So I could feel the cup. It actually provided me, I started to experience a little bit of cramping, which at first I thought, okay, the cramping is it's just period cramps, right? I don't know. It could have been, I'm not a doctor. I don't know what it was, but I was having cramping and it was just a different type of cramping. It was very weird. So we leave Home Depot. Walmart is right next door. So I'm like, all right, I can make it through Walmart. It's just going to be a quick stop. It is what it is. So we head on over to Walmart. And then it's in Walmart where I realize that a seal did not happen. My cup was not sealed. So I'm moving around, walking around, and I'm sorry if this is TMI, but again, it needs to be talked about. So I'm moving around and I'm like, okay, is this just the lube that I'm feeling or am I leaking? So that's at the moment when I tell Danny, we gotta go. He's like, what? What do you mean? What's going on? I'm like, we need to go. I need to get home. Okay? This menstrual cup is doing weird things inside my vagina that I'm not okay with right now. We gots to go. So we get home and I immediately go to the bathroom, get ready to take out my menstrual cup. The cup, nowhere to be found. It disappeared inside my vagina. Which, I am a sexual health educator, y'all. I know that that's not possible. I know that I have a cervix there that is blocking anything from getting up into my uterus. So I know that that's not possible. But when you are in a moment of panic and just overwhelmingness of feelings and emotions, I thought I was so cool using this menstrual cup. I thought it was going to be smooth sailing. And then the shit fucking disappears. Like, you gonna go and disappear inside my vagina? No, this is not okay. This is not okay. So I text my friend Molly, literally sitting on my toilet, thinking, what the hell, right? And I'm a sexual health educator. I've had women message me that have the same experience when they're using Kegel balls and they feel like they get lost, but it just happens. Your vagina is very deep, y'all. So it's just something that happens, and especially because I was moving, I was going throughout the day, and I was in a panic. My body was tense, which was making this cup even suck up further. So that's what's happened. That's what happens, okay? So I text Molly, and I'm like, literally, word for word, my text is it normal for the menstrual cup to go pretty far up to where I have to reach in and grab for the string? Like, I'm talking, I had to dig in to even find the string. And the string itself is like, what, two inches maybe? So I'm just like, well, where did it go? I'm in a complete panic. And then I next text multiple questions mark with the emoji of like that emoji like showing all its teeth. Literally. She immediately, thankfully, texted me back. She said, for sure, when that happens, you need to relax. Your tension is pulling it up. I was like, yeah, duh. I know that. So what happened, I went pee, I wiped, and then when I was wiping, that's when I noticed the string. So with me pushing a little bit, which is worked in my matter, but when you pee, you're actually relaxing those muscles. So that worked in my favor. And I was like, literally, I was just like, where the fuck is the string? Like, where did this thing go? And Molly had a similar, she said, this is totally normal. The first time it happened to me, I panicked and she cried in the shower. So it's a normal thing that happens. So again, this is a trial and error type experience. So I was just like, oh, okay. So backtrack a little bit back to Walmart. How I know that my cup was not sealed was I was queefing. Full disclosure, y'all, the queefs were nonstop. If you don't know what a queef is, it's basically a fart from your vagina, and it's an interesting feeling first in and of itself, but it's even more interesting when you have a menstrual cup in. And I think like one queef, here or there while you're experimenting with a menstrual cup, fine, okay. But this was like a queef with like every step. And that was like the moment of panic to Danny where I'm like, we have to fucking go now. Like, I don't know if you can hear this, what's happening over here with my vagina, but like it is not okay and we need to get home. Plus I had known that I was leaking. I forgot to mention that. So when I got home to remove this thing, not only had it disappeared on me, it's just like pulled some Houdini shit, but I also did have some leakage in my underwear. So, oh my gosh, seriously. So if you have a panic moment, if weird things happen, this is also my day one experience, you guys. This is my day one experience, and I'm a person that I also, when I do have a period, it only lasts about 3 days, and I only have heavy bleeding on the first day, so I really don't need to use a menstrual cup the other like 2 and 3 days. But for this experiment, I did because I really wanted to see, like, when you remove a tampon or you remove a pad, you can visibly see the blood, but like it's all soaked up in there, right? So you really can't visibly see. And recently, I think y'all know too, if you've been listening, I recently transitioned off of birth control. And so my periods, I knew that my periods would be changing. And so this was kind of like researchy and nerdy for me, but I wanted to like visibly see how much blood was in my cup. Like I wanted to see how much I was menstruating. So, yeah. So that was my very first experience with a menstrual cup. Now, this was back in January. Now I'm currently recording this in June. So I've been using the menstrual cup for that basically like 5 months technically. I haven't had a period yet for June, so we'll go 5 months. And I'll say it's definitely something that I like it. I like it for the overnight use, definitely. Again, because I don't want to bleed throughout the night and I don't like sleeping. I don't even own pads, first of all, but I don't like sleeping in tampons. I was always told not to, so I just stuck with that. Toxic shock syndrome and all that stuff that they warn you about with tampons. So that is, that's that. So I like to wear them for my overnight use, but I will be honest, I switched back over to tampons for my normal everyday use, if you will. So another thing that I didn't like when I talked about the messiness of the cup, I legit did have an incident where I was removing the cup. And when I was like taking it out, it was like I had to tug a little bit. And then, of course, once it finally came out, it's like that rubber band effect. You're pulling so hard and then there's nothing to be pulling back on it eventually once it leaves your vagina. So when that happened, it like my hand like banged up against the toilet bowl and then it just like spilt all over. It was dripping down my hand. I was like, this is not like I was at home, thankfully, but like had I been in public, I would have had to like leave my little stall to go to a sink, hope that there was a sink open and available for me, holding my cup. I would have to clean the cup in public. Like, there's just, I don't know. I just can't get down with that. Why would you change your cup in public? Like, especially if it's something that you can wear for hours and hours. I don't know, but that's just where my anxiety-ridden brain goes. And like, what if I have to change this in public? What do I do? So I definitely did switch over back to tampons again for my regular use. I do use a menstrual cup again for that overnight wear here and there, but not often. So that's your review on the period cup. When I was using it, I didn't really notice less cramping or anything like that. Like people have said that they've experienced when they switched over to a cup. I didn't notice anything like that. I will say again, I don't have a heavy flow as it is, so having something that can hold more or last me longer isn't really a necessity for me. But if it is for you, definitely at least try it. So I hope this was helpful for you. I hope this was entertaining for you all to hear. Again, it's just something worth trying, right? It might be a mind-blowing, life-changing experience for you, like it was for my friend Molly. Or it might, at minimum, just give you some good stories to talk about with your girlfriends or to tell other people. So if you have questions, let me know. I will still pop the links again to Put a Cup in It and the Lunette Cup. Those are the two that I mentioned on this episode. I'll tag those in the show notes here. And then definitely stay tuned on my Insta. I will be doing a reel for y'all about how to insert the menstrual cup. I was realizing as I was recording this, I'm like doing it with my hand, but it would be so much better to see in a video. So I'll make a reel for that for you. And and anyways, I'm a good time to follow on Instagram. So the Rachel Maine is my Instagram handle. If you're not yet following me, if we're not yet friends, let's be friends. I love your faces. All right, until next time, have great periods. Periods don't have to suck. Periods are cool. Love your period. It's necessary for our life. Okay, bye. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If you loved it, be sure to subscribe so you never miss a thing. And if you loved it so fucking much, be sure to leave a 5-star review. I'll see you next week, and until then, keep owning your sexual self.